Welcome everybody to another session of She Gov Savvy. We are here tonight to chat with you a little bit about capability statements. So I am Sabrina. You have
I'm
Billy,
Billy.
and we the delayed version of it all. So, but it's okay. Y'all ain't here for all that. Y'all are here to learn about capability statements. And so tonight, Billy is going to be the driver, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about capability statements. So, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments, and we will do our best to respond to them. All right, Billy, let's take it away.
All right. Thank you, Sabrina. So today we're talking all about capability statements and how to master your message. So we're going to go through some formats, some do's and don'ts, differentiators, and some other action items. So a couple do's and don'ts. So do you use a visual aids to guide your audience? What I mean by that is you can use different formats on your capability statement. You want to make it engaging, some pictures as well, because we always say a picture tell 1,000 words. And so you want to make it visually appealing to them. Don't overcrowd it though either, because you don't want too much on a page. And remember, there's two sides of a capability statement. You have your front and your back. Now, when you're just starting out, you're only going to be able to fill that front page. And so as it gets full, start utilizing the back side of that as well. And cater your capability statements. Have more than one. I know I have several of them. I have my main general one, and then I have more specialized ones that I'm sending out to government agencies, prime contractors, and I cater them to whatever I'm looking at fulfilling. So make sure you have multiple in there. Use your branding colors. You can do different things like with your headers and those type of things. You still want to keep it very clean. I know I've heard for federal, you want to do just simple black and white. I don't. I still do color with my federal, but I don't go crazy either. I still want my branding colors in there. And I'll kind of show you an example here later on. Don't put your certifications in your About Us. I've seen a lot of in the summarizations that they're we're woman owned or an 8A up in there. Don't put that in your summary. Put that down at the bottom, because that is not what your capability is about. It's not who you are, or not. That's not what you do. It is something that you offer, but you want to really highlight what you can do and how your business can help them. Your certifications are just the icing on the cake. And make sure you have your point of contact on there. I've actually seen a couple different capability statements. There's nowhere for people to find a point of contact. Yes, your phone number, your email, and all that's on there. But just think about it. When you're reaching out to someone, you want to know who you're reaching out to. Not just, it could be anybody in the company. You want to make sure that you're reaching out to somebody. So government and prime contractors are no exception to that. They want to know who they're talking to. And this kind of goes back to the branding, as I mentioned before. Don't go crazy with it. Keep it nice and clean and simple as well. So there's some do's and don'ts. So here is kind of an example of the capability statement. And what we have on here is, up at top, you have your business name, address, kind of, and your website, usually what you put up there. This is the summary. You want to keep that fairly short. And again, do not put your, that I'm a woman-owned small business that, that does X, Y, and Z. Your business POC, you want to make sure you have it highlighted. You can have it up at the top. I've seen it down at the bottom. It doesn't matter. Just make sure it's on there somewhere and it's obvious where it's at. And then you have your NAICS, your UEI, and then your certifications. You always want to try and put them, again, down at the bottom, because they are icing on the cake. They are not what you do. And then group it. So some of us, we can do more than a few services, or, say for administrative, you can still group it, like I have here, you have staffing and then, other services. Try and group them together. Differentiators. This one is key, and we'll kind of talk about this one later on in the presentation. But your differentiators, you want to be creative, stand apart, because everybody says that they're the best at something or best at something, but how are you better than your competitor? Past performance, you put a brief description. So you have kind of two different things in here. You see I have past performance and past experience. And so for companies that don't have any past performance yet, you can still utilize your past experience. You just change it up a little bit and put brief descriptions in there until you're able to add that past performance. This is kind of just a general overview of that. All right, so differentiator time. How well do you know your business? So what value do your products or services bring to customers? So this is something that you can write out of the different things that your company brings as far as value. Write it all out so it'll help you when you're working on your differentiators. And if there's any innovative technologies that you use or methods that help make you stand apart, write all this down as well. And any convenience factors to make it easier for your customers to access your products or services. So really think about this, really list all these things out, because it's going to help you when this next step, when you actually go into figuring out your differentiators. And this is where you're going to utilize AI. So your companies, have a tagline. So like Jimmy John's Freaky Fast. You want to get your products or your no, my brain just went blank. I hate it when that happens. Anyway, you want some kind of catchy tagline that kind of gets them thinking as well. And you can utilize AI for that. And so this actually is an example of Jimmy John's. And so their company is, various tracking methods for their customers, how they can, strategies. And so this is kind of how that we kind of broke it out to figure out what our differentiators could be. Okay, and as you see down below, so, unique speed and service, or unique service speed and innovative tracking. And so you can see at the top, these are just some general things that I plugged into AI, into ChatGPT, or what I like to call Charlie. And then here at the bottom is what it actually spit out. And this is what you would put as your differentiators. So things to kind of keep in mind, so it kind of helps set you apart. Okay. And then some other things. Are there any unique features or aspects that set your offerings apart from your competitors? Okay. And what value do you bring? Okay. And what problem do you solve? So you need to start thinking about some of those. And then how do you ensure a positive customer experience? What sets you apart from your customer service that's different? So you really need to think outside the box on these, and to learn how you're going to write this, because you don't want to say, we have excellent customer service. All of us say we have excellent customer service. How do you stand apart? So that's kind of my capabilities brief in a quick nutshell. Like I said, ChatGPT is going to be your friend when you're trying to write your differentiators, as well as when you're listing out your past performance or past experience as well. You can, put in there. So say, you did mailroom services. Put it into ChatGPT, asking it, hey, I need to list this out as past performance, and have it plugged in there. And it'll spit out something that'll help you to put it on there, so it actually really starts standing out on your capability statement. So that's all I've got as far as my capability statement. Ladies, what other suggestions or things would you like to add to that?
Well, thank you, Billy, for that presentation. So for the people, so that they understand the importance of your experience, whether it's past performance, past experience, like you were saying there, because we all get stuck there sometimes, especially when you're new to the government. Give them some examples of what past experience would look like for them.
Okay. So past experience, so I'm going to use mine. So some past experience that I had was doing records management piece. And so what I did on that past experience, because it's not past performance, I would put, listed out as, provided records management services and what organization. So for me, it was Wyoming Army National Guard and corporate agencies. So I actually did it for two. And I just add that piece to it, either at the beginning of your past experience for that line or at the end. Usually I added at the end of, did record management services for, Wyoming Army National Guard and corporate agencies. So they can see that, yeah, you might not have that past performance as your company, but your team has that past experience. And these are the agencies that you have that for. So that's how I do it.
And that's good.
I have a quick question. And when you say you usually put it at the end and you say corporate agencies, do you stay away from listing who the corporate agencies are? Is there any rules to that?
I haven't any rules. I just put corporate agencies because there's been several of them. So trying to list all of them out to me is, a lot to list out. Plus, it all depends on who you're targeting too. So if you are targeting a government agency, yeah, they're like to see that you have corporate experience too, but they're not going to want to know that it was for maybe a couple hospitals or doctors' offices, that type of thing. They just want to know, yeah, it was for corporate.
And I think also too that Billy, when you talk about your past experience, past performances, and you talk about tailoring it to whoever you're pitching to at that particular point in time, that is important. That when you put down past performances, you want to make sure that those past performances are related to your target agency. You don't want to just put just any random past performances on there. You want to make sure they're specific to the agency that you're targeting. So that's also a good thing to think about when you're doing it. Like, we all know we've been employed, we've had jobs, and we've done many things, but make it make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just the agency. Maybe you're looking at a source of SOT notice that you're responding to or a forecast report. But yeah, absolutely. Don't just change your services or whatnot. You got to change your whole capability statement to match that. So yes, absolutely.
And also when it comes to your NAICS codes, tell them how important that is to, again, catering your capability statement to your target agency or whatever you're doing at the time.
Yeah, and part of that is research too. See what they normally put out for those NAICS codes for that project. Do they already have it on that source of SOT forecast report? And make sure it's relevant, because a lot of us, we do several different things and say it is for record services. You're not going to want to put on there that your NAICS code, if you do trucking as well or event planning or anything like that, because it's not relevant to that notice. It could be just for record purposes. So make sure it's in line. You do want to add a couple different ones to give them options too, because government agencies, they utilize different ones for whatever reason. And so giving them a couple different options that could be that you have experience with. And your size standards is really what your NAICS codes is too. So.
And that's awesome. And we'll have to come back and do another deep dive and talk about NAICS codes and size standards, because that's a whole conversation in itself. But this was really good information. Regina, I don't have any more questions. Do you have anything else for Billy?
No, I don't. I don't have anything else.
Well, that was excellent, Billy, because it's important. We know that one of the questions that a lot of people ask getting started is about the capability statement and understanding, the ins and outs, what to put on it, the do's and don'ts. So this was good. And I hope that this helps somebody out there as you're preparing your capability statement on your journey into government contracting. So if that is all, we are going to wrap this up. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, put them in the chat and we will do our best to respond to them. And until next time, this is another episode of She Gov Savvy, and we will see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.